Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline. So today we've got a round of golf, 2 years in the making, exactly. Stupid diets, why the fitness community feels the need to ruin everything, and yeah, I think I'll leave the other couple as a bit of a surprise because, TV, movies, computer games, and more, all right here. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Biggest one, the best one, the favourite of the podcast. Share the podcast around. Please, please, please. You got a friend who listens to podcasts. You listen to podcasts. Why wouldn't they enjoy it? Send it their way. They'll thank you. We'll thank you. We'll send you a prize. All the good stuff. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline. Hello! How are we doing? We well? Are we good? Are we? Ask yourself deeply, sincerely, am I good? If the answer is yes, I'm happy for you. I genuinely am. If the answer is, I don't know, drop me a line, let me know. I'll hit you back. Not hit you, but you know. Real quick, let's get the obvious out of the way. And I think we know what that is. That is that it's the 30th of June. And today it was 33 degrees. So, for you lizard people out there, drop me a line and let me know how this is fucking better. Just wondering. Just curious. A clue. Okay, now that's out of the way. Let's get into it. Plenty of stuff to go through. I had a round of golf. There you go. 2 years in the making. I had a round of golf, which is another way of saying, ruined my own fucking joke. Another way of saying, it was my son's birthday last week. Let me explain the ways that you can feel like a bad parent. So, a few weeks back, out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere, Leanne drops into conversation that she is not working on my son's birthday. And I go, interesting. And that was that. And when I say that was that, the cogs start turning. And next thing I'm like, I mean, if you're not working, and I don't think we both need to be here, do we? Again, not strictly true. I'm making it sound worse than it actually was, for the purposes of making myself feel worse. Ultimately, what it was that it was my son's birthday. There were these plans that involved his little bestie and him and the mothers and all of this, and then me. And I'm like, I don't feel okay with that setup. I don't think that really. I don't feel it vibes. So, I'm like, what? I just stay at home. I'm like, I suppose I can get my workout done, get my run done, get it all done early, and then in the afternoon, he'll need to go to bed because he's been out partying all morning. So then I don't even have my workout or my run to do. I'm just kind of sitting around. So, none of that feels right. And it almost feels like almost like a free day, like a freebie, which, if I had a free day and I knew a guy who had a month off work, maybe I could put those two things together and we could go for a round of golf. And I gently dropped that into conversation and didn't get shot down. And at another point in time, I gently mentioned it in conversation, and again, no shots fired. I was like, And then I was sort of umming and ahhing, and I was up and down, and I mentioned it to podcast alum Thomas. And he was like, well, it's not like I haven't got a month off work. I'm like, you certainly do. So then, after a couple of weeks of this, I'm like, well, let's start down at it. So I was like, look, if my son's not here, he's not available, and I am here, and I am available, and then he's going to be in bed for half the afternoon, how much of an issue is it if I go and play golf? And there was just this whole, there is no problem with you going to play golf. So penciled it in at this point, and then a week later sort of just basically locked it in. Night before the round, weather was up and down, because 2 years ago I had a round of golf booked that got rained off on the only day it rained in a fortnight. Just want to, if anybody needs the context, just want to get that out there. So, weather was looking suspicious, but came all right in the end. So the weather wasn't an issue. The night before the round of golf, I go, what the fucking hell am I doing? It's his birthday. I should be going with him. I should be going to witness. I should be going to experience it. I should be... I'm a terrible parent. I think we would have all been like that, thinking I was a terrible parent. So, day of, I was like, right, I'm going to do this much stuff to help out. Spend some time in the morning doing birthday stuff, and then I'm going to take my daughter to school, go for this round of golf. I hope you guys have a great time, and off I went. And, ultimately, karma got hold of me and was like, bro, let's play golf. Finished the round of golf with the same ball I started with. Not for a lack of trying, I might add. Hit it into a lake, which turned out didn't actually hit it into a lake. Hit it into a ditch, like a big, deep ditch, which turned out was recoverable. So it was that sort of thing. When I say I hit it into a lake, I hit it into a lake 5 times. Still managed to get the ball out. So, swings and roundabouts. Middle of the round was fine. Sort of dialed it in. And then it's sort of like that slide to the back end. Needed a wee about the 13th hole. So, there was that to factor into it all. And then basically finished up and just back home for fun and games, presents. All the children came for tea, cake, just the works. It was a jolly good time, and honestly, I can't imagine he even noticed that I wasn't there or cared. And that, ladies and gents, is how you make yourself feel better for being a bad parent. Oh, Jesus. It's so warm. So last week, I was like, right, I'm gonna dial it in. I'm going to get dialed in for the diet. I'm going to throw caution to the wind, let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to do the diet. No fasting, no nothing. I'm just going to diet until the diet sorts itself out, levels out, and then we should be good. And I was dieting. I was on it. Day 1, Monday, weighed in, got a good weigh in. I was like, right, here we go. So day 1 done. Day 2, weigh in. Okay, put, I think it was like £1 and a bit on. It was a bit like, okay, this was expected. This was to be expected. This is what we were going to say. This is what we were expecting. Day 2, put on £2 and was like, nah, bro, that ain't how we play. I was like, this is no good to me. I knew I was eating well. Protein, absolutely off the charts. Protein. Fruit, veg, everything a growing boy could need. However, by this point, £3 up 2 days in. I'm like, bro. Day 3. Broke a stone barrier, which meant I'd put £4 on. And I went, nah, I can't. I'm done. I can't do it. I can't. I just can't. So that was the end of that, basically. I fasted day 3. Came in the next day, £5 lighter. Which was great. Completely fucked the entire week's plan. What a waste of time. Can't do it. Today, I've tracked all my calories, apart from the fact that right now, I've got a Guinness and a Diet Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew is probably worth next to nothing. The Guinness is probably worth a few. In fact, fuck it, let's do it. Come on, here we go. This is what it was. I said I was going to track all my calories today, and I was just working on the principle I'd do this later. But let's do it now and find out. Add log food, Guinness. Oh, you bastard! It was there. 0. Guinness 0. 60. 440. Ah, bro. Okay. Add. And, look, we can do a scan a barcode. Scan a bitch. Boom, bitch. And that is 3 calories. So, that's cool. I'm going to put it down as a snack because it's not my dinner. I've got 1,000 calories remaining for my day. Here we go. This is it. Protein, 150 grams. So I'm off by 56 grams. Not a fan of that. Carbohydrates, 254. Sugar, high, 77. That's not going to help anything, is it? 38 fat. Sodium. Jesus, sodium's right up there. That'll be the fizzy drinks. Calcium's quite high. Is that good? Alright. Good for your bones, I guess. Whatevs. None of it works. It's all fucking bullshit. I am so fucking sick and tired of all this horseshit. None of it works. None of it works. It's all bollocks. It's all garbage. None of it fucking works. Honestly, I'm gearing up for a big old fast because that's the only thing that actually does work. I was like, right, I'll do a fast, drop a stone, get that body fat percentage right down, really show it who's boss. But then what? Then what? What? Am I going to eat something? Put a shit ton of weight on? Nah, I'm good, thanks. Speaking of bullshit diet bollocks, I've had two things basically completely ruined for me. And think of how, I was about to say a word there that you're not allowed to use. Think of how dumb this shit is, right? The two things that I've had basically completely ruined in the last week or so. Number one, peanut butter. What do we know about peanut butter? A couple of things. Number one, reasonably high in protein. It's great to add to stuff if you want an extra little bit of protein. Add in something brilliant. I put it in a protein shake. Boom! Dials up the protein that little bit more, gives a little bit of flavour, thickens it up. Nothing wrong with that. Unless you focus on the fat. The fat is that high in peanut butter that it almost basically cancels out the protein. I.e., no point in fucking having it. Cool. Thanks, science. Hey, if you think that's bad, how about this one? This is my favourite so far. Cardio. What do we know about cardio? Well, what we know about cardio is it's really good for you. Burns fat, keeps you healthy, drops weight, keeps you healthy, good for your mental health, keeps you healthy, makes you live longer. Or it's the worst thing in the world. Kills your gains, doesn't burn that much, you're better off walking. Running's bad, cardio's evil. That's what the world wants you to know. Scientific community, the internet, YouTube, they want you to know cardio, no good, mate. You're better off going for a walk. There was this thing that I saw that was like, oh, are you going to eat a donut? 330 calories, donut. You would have to do, what was it? It was like 2 miles of running to burn off that donut. But if you walk 12 to 15,000 steps a day, much better for you. Who in their right mind thinks, do you know the things that we should be targeting nowadays? Cardio and peanut butter. Those are the things that are wrong with the world. Here's my argument. If you're living in a world where a little bit of peanut butter is the difference between you getting through the day or jumping out of a window, maybe leave peanut butter alone. Maybe say to that person, hey, you're doing your best. Just be aware the protein you get is almost cancelled out by the fat. But if it's the difference between you sucking down that protein shake and getting back in the gym, it's all good, brother, sister. If somebody likes to go for a run, it's kind of that, are they the problem or are they the solution? Are they out there crushing it, getting after it, trying to make themselves better, trying to make other people better, just all of that? Or should we be like, dude, you're wasting your time, don't bother? Okay, well, there are people out there who go, I'm wasting my time, am I? Ah, best order a pizza then. Do you know how I know that? So, let's give peanut butter a break and tell people, hey, a walk's the same as a run, but a run might be more beneficial. Honestly, who the fuck ruins peanut butter and cardio? Yes, if you're pouring one of those gallon tubs of peanut butter down your throat, it's probably not good for you. If you're smearing a bit on a corn cake, I think you might survive that one. If you've gone out and run a 5K, you're probably better off in your life than if you'd sat at home and eaten a tub of ice cream. Maybe that should be the focus. I don't know. I'm just an idiot who... I don't know. Here's a story for you. Here's a story. Here we go. There's a story. This one. Yep, this one was a good one. I was going to use that cloth, but I think I'm going to get this cloth here. My sweaty arm is sticking to, well, everything basically. I'm going to put that there like that. Ooh, game changer. Let's have a sip. I am a dog walker. No, that's not a metaphor. Or one of those kinky kind of... I don't know what's kinky these days. I am a dog walker. I walk the dog. Something that I never really took into account before getting a dog is when you walk a dog, you meet people and you make dog walking friends and all of that, and it's a whole culture. You meet other people with dogs. You refer to those people by their dog's name and your relationship to them. So-and-so's, that dog's grandparent. So, then you see the same people at the same sort of times. Then you start to really get to know people. You even get on first name basis. I have recently got on first name basis with my dog's ex-girlfriend's granddad. Saw him the other morning, used his name. Like, blah, blah, blah. Then went, was that his name? Shit. So... That's that. There's a lady that lives on a corner. One of the corners I walk around, she lives on the corner. She had, as I found out the other day, a dog. I don't know, I was going to call it a Westie, but it's not a Westie. Like the grey Westie. Would it be a Scotty dog? Whatever Colin was in Spaced. One of them. It was not well. By that I mean, I believe it may have had a tumour the size of itself. Not an exaggeration. It was particularly unsettling to see. You're just like, oh, you poor thing. That lady's dog did not like my dog. Would try and pick a fight every time, but it was small. They never really came in contact with each other. Over the years, I have got onto speaking terms with this lady. We've had the morning, and one time she told me, and this one made me chuckle. One time she told me that she could set her watch by me. She knew exactly what time of day it was when she saw me walk past her front window. And that made me laugh. And I went, my granddad would have loved that. He was very big into time, my granddad. Anyway, so I go around the corner the other morning. And I see lady who lives on the corner come in from the shops. I'm like, morning. You know, you're a dog walker. That's what you say to people. Morning. So I did my morning and went about my day. She speeds up. She's crossing the road. She speeds up. She goes, excuse me. I was like, fuck. In my experience, when somebody says, excuse me, they're generally going to give you some shit. And I'm like, I don't feel like we're on giving each other shit terms. I also don't believe I have done anything wrong. I don't think this is going to go too well. She hurries across the road. She's like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, fuck. She's going to be like, is your dog shit on my grass? Or, why do you... Or, I was like, I was like, right, let's get it over with. I was like, sure, go on. Are you intentionally losing weight? I went, and before I could answer, she went, or are you ill? I was like, what? So I'm trying to answer the question by saying, no, it's intentional. I set out to lose some weight for a variety of different reasons. I've always been trying to lose weight for many, many years at this point in time. I had a recap about this and worked out that it's like basically 25 years. Can you imagine doing something for 25 years and going, I'll get there one day? She then went on to tell me that she's glad that wasn't unwell. She was glad it was intentional. The only reason she recognises me these days is because of my beard and that I need to stop losing weight because it wouldn't be good if I continued to lose weight. And in my muddled mouth, I was like, yeah, I will. And I was like, I'm walking away and I was like, I think I might have just told that lady that I'm going to still lose weight. I'm going to continue to lose weight in spite of her telling me I look unwell. I was like, whatever. It amused me to a degree. But also, you know, when you're like, now I will admit she's not the only person that has told me that I look unwell. I had this running joke at one point that I was going to start telling people that I was on black market Ozempic and it was having adverse effects, and then make up random symptoms. Like, I'll tell you something, bro. Every time I sneeze, I shit myself. It's really uncomfortable, you know, especially being a hay fever sufferer. And then just walk away and leave them to it. Somebody told me that I needed to stop losing weight. I mean, like, I told Leanne about what happened. She was like, I told you looked ill a while ago. I was like, thanks for that. Thanks for the vote of confidence. So there you go. I look ill, says the man who's like, maybe I'll do another fast. In light of this was Saturday morning, I've just realised. Saturday evening, well, the weight was going all right the back end of the week. It was like, I was putting on weight, but not like a pound or 2 pounds or 3 pounds, whatever. It was like 0.8 of a pound. And I'm like, 0.8 of a pound for what I ate yesterday. Yes, it was high protein, fruit and veg and whatever. I can kind of live with. I'm kind of okay with that. Get to the weekend, Saturday night, baby. And we all know what Saturday night is. Saturday night's the night to cut loose. Especially when you're planning a fast on a Sunday. Absolute waste of fucking time. Lost 2 pounds. Boring. Anyway, that's a whole different story. So I was like, right, it's time to try a little something. So I made everybody in the house pizza for tea. My youngest daughter's been pestering me on and off if I made pizza. There was a conversation about having pizza sauce in the fridge that needed using. Turned out, yep, needed using a lot, but a long time before that. Let's put it that way. I think it tried to murder me. And I was like, do you know something? It's one of those, you've got to keep your eye in. So I should do it. Glad I did. Hands down the best pizza dough I've ever made. Which resulted in making, hands down, what I think is pretty much the best pizza I've ever made. I was super happy with it. The only thing I wish is that I'd tried to go with the stuffed crust. I wish I'd tried a stuffed crust. There was plenty of room to attempt a stuffed crust, even though every stuffed crust I've tried to date has been a complete disaster. Anyway, different story. I got all of their meals out of the way. Kids done. Leanne fed. Side note, turned my leftover pizza dough into mozzarella sticks, but with like pizza dough mozzarella stick. Used pizza sauce as dipping sauce. Little garlic butter brush, garlic bread pizza stick, mozzarella stick with pizza sauce. I'm still working on the name. Got them all fed, dropped them. I was like, right. Now it's time for the big dog to eat in more ways than one. So I made a protein pizza. So, what's protein pizza, I hear you ask? Well, Leanne had bought me these shortest version fake chicken pieces. I made a mental note of the fake chicken pieces and I was like, I'm going to use those for something. I have an idea what. I've been messing around with this protein pizza dough. Used two different recipes and turned this, like basically you make a base. The whole pizza is about 50 grams of protein and not a lot of calories. So I did that. I made the base. Got the base in the oven. Hit it with some of the pizza sauce. That's what it's there for. And some cheese. But before hitting it with the cheese, I hit it with half a packet of these like fake chicken pizzas. Hit it with the cheese, got it in the oven, got it all looking gorgeous. And then came the big one. As it's just me eating, a drizzle, because I am aware, high sugar, high everything, just a drizzle, just a smattering of barbecue sauce. Basically created like a barbecue chicken pizza. Bro, when I tell you, it was a clean up on aisle me situation, let's put it like that. It was phenomenal. Only thing I would have changed would have been, I've been using this method for crisping up the bottom of a homemade pizza. You can basically put it in a pan and heat it, especially this dough. It leans itself to doing that. You can actually make it in, you know those pans you can put in the oven? You can make it in one of those so that when you bring it out, you can check the bottom. If it's not dark enough, crispy enough, whatever you want, bang it on the hob. Boom. Boom shakalaka boom. Sat down, ate the lot. Didn't need anything else. That was me sort of done for the evening. And that was that. Or so I thought. Saying that like that, everybody's now like, ill were you? No, I wasn't. However, I got up the next day and I was like, I don't want to do it, but I feel like I have to. Stepped on the scales, to see that I'd put weight on. Not super surprising. Only put 0.8 of a pound on and walked away from that going, I'm fasting today, I'll lose X number of pounds. Which even post-run, I only lost 3 pounds between Saturday and this morning. Not great, not going to lie. Not the best. But I was well happy. Well happy, mate. So there you go. That was the week. So a couple of bits of TV, a couple of bits of movies, a couple of games, and some VR. I mean, when I said this had it all, I wasn't lying to you. Right, so TV wise, couple of bits. The TV stuff I'm kind of glossing over because I don't know if I necessarily want to go into individual episodes. One of them I will talk about. So we've been working our way through Blacklist, about an episode a day. Series 2 still. It's dragging a little, not going to lie. What if anybody knows like long-term anime shows, had basically a filler episode. They did a recap episode. I was like, the fuck is this? Why are we watching this? This makes no sense. Very strange. There's been like a lot of development. Like there's a lot going on at the moment. They keep rolling out like classic old school actors. We had Alan Arkin for a few episodes. We had the guy who was in one of the Bourne films that says the phrase, "My God, that's Jason Bourne." He was in it for a little while. And currently we've got Lance Henriksen, which, you know, no issues there. So there's a lot going on. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's just a series 2 type thing. I finished the first series of Spawn, the animated series, the Todd McFarlane animated series. Honestly, it's one of those things. I've seen it a bajillion times. So nothing to really review there. What I will say is this. Getting to the back end and I was like, do you know something that really stands out about this series? The voice acting is on point. Like it's proper acting. Because honestly, the animation in places is not that great. There's some real continuity issues. But the voice acting just brings it all together. Keith David as Spawn is absolutely inspired. Every voice that's in it just fits and works, and it really works. Like you can tell the person's working. It's not just turn up, microphone on, record. You know, like this podcast. It's great. I finished it and had bought it, and I bought it cheap. So then it was like, oh, why don't you buy Series 2, you know, for full price? And I was like, I'm not going to do that. What it has lent itself to, interestingly enough, is I've started watching, I've gone back to watching movies on my treadmill journey. The film I'm watching at the moment is a favourite of mine, and I doubt I'll review it. However, I have started another film, haven't finished, so won't review. But I have seen a new film, and technically a new film, however, it is a remake. I watched the movie Warfare. Heard on a podcast the other day that the team of people that replaced Jocko Willick's team, They made this movie. The movie is about them. Phenomenal, fantastic, great. Lot of solid actors in it. It was really good. It was quite difficult to watch in places. Michael Gandolfini's in it, which was interesting. Very powerful. Really puts you in the moment in the film. Unfortunately, I do feel that's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because you're like, wow, oh my god, look at that, oh wow, oh my god, they got blown up, oh, not to spoil it, obviously. But then the next thing you're like, why do we do these things? Why do we send these people to these countries for them to get blown up and come back without any legs? And get shot at and get PTSD. For what reason? How about we just don't? You think, maybe let's not. For all of the possible reasons that those soldiers would have to go and do the things that they had to go and do, and be subjected to the things that they were subjected to, we could not as well. And that was kind of what came off the back of it. I was just like, can we not? It was just fucking depressing, man. These, however you look at it, these people are incredible human beings for doing the things that they do. And you're never going to get away from that. The abilities that these people have, the way they are able to do the things they do, you are not going to be able to comprehend as a civilian the things they have to go through. They have to know the abilities they have to be able to do the things they do. But could we not as well? It's just, it's tough going, man. Had some free tickets to go to the cinema, which is a bit of a longer story than necessary. However, took my youngest daughter to see the How to Train Your Dragon live action movie. One of those things, I wanted to take all of the children, but the stars did not align for this. And honestly, I might take the others separately. How to Train Your Dragon. Anybody that's listened to this podcast for more than about 8 minutes will know How to Train Your Dragon is one of my favourite films. And whilst I sat and watched it in the cinema the other day, I really boiled down why it is. And I think I got to the bottom of why it is. But it way too much to go through right now. I had very mixed feelings about How to Train Your Dragon live action. And some of the stuff that I saw early on, I wasn't filled with a lot of confidence. Then there were other things. The other things being, oh, you're doing a CG dragon for a film where the dragon was originally CG. I imagine you're going to be able to do that one quite well. Then someone's like, oh, did you know that they've managed to secure Gerard Butler to do the same role he did in the original? It's like, I mean, that's pretty cool. And then they're like, oh, Nick Frost is playing Gobber, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool casting. And then you see a clip of him as Gobber, and you go, oh, that was not good. That was not good casting. You've got the guy that they had playing Hiccup, and 1 minute I'm like, you are the wrong choice for this. And the next minute I'm like, I think you're doing an okay job though. So I'll give you a chance. I believe there was some controversy around the lady who was playing Astrid. I don't really know what the deal was. And don't really care. So here we go. In a film where a lot, if not most, of it is CG, drives me up the fucking wall when they go, oh, people are going to be looking at, the dragons. So let's make the dragons look really good, really close to the film. And let's not bother with the rest. Because there were elements of CG in that film were terrible. Like, painful to look at. Bringing Gerard Butler back, absolutely inspired. What I will say is this. He should have left the cape, cloak thing on throughout the film. Number one, Stoic does in the original. Number two, it made him look as he was supposed to. Taking it off made him look wrong. Nick Frost was the wrong person for that role. He just... At no point did I feel he redeemed himself. It was just bad casting. I don't mind Nick Frost. I've got time for him in a lot of things. I really enjoyed him in things. He was fantastic in Spaced. I really liked his role in Fighting with My Family, stuff like that. But this was a prime example of bad casting. Speaking of bad casting, if you took all of the children, the warrior children, from the original, I'm going to leave the whole Astrid thing to one side. Fishlegs is the kid from Deadpool 2, and in the end I was like, actually, great casting. The guy who was doing the... was it? What's his face? I can't think what his name is. Jonah Hill. I didn't like him to start with, but by the end I was like, I think you've done an alright job. The twins, the casting for the twins should be a criminal offence. And I'll leave that there because it's possibly the thing that angered me about the film the most. There were good elements, there were bad elements. There were some lines that were delivered in a way where I was like, I wish you'd have gone further with that. And then X number of times through the film, I was like, hang on a minute, I'm trying to make them make it a serious movie. And what they're trying to do is remember it's a kid's film. Saying that though, number of people who were in the cinema with us that didn't have kids with them, I was like, okay. So, a verdict, shall we say. There were good things that really redeemed the film. There were bad things that really let the film down. So we're at 50-50. So was it worth it? I said to my youngest daughter when we left, I was like, there were things that were good about it and then there were things that were bad about it. And I think ultimately, in that situation, you have to rely on how you feel leaving the screening. If you feel, I didn't enjoy that was a waste of my time, it was a bad film, and that's that. If you feel like that was an experience, I enjoyed the experience as a whole, and I feel really good walking out at the end of this movie, that's your review. And that's how I felt. By the end of it, I was absolutely buzzing. There's in the original, I feel like there's the one bit that it makes the hairs on my arm stand on end when they do the flying bit, the original flying bit. Every time it makes hairs stand on end. In the live action remake, there was two bits that I was like, that's fucking awesome. They took some liberties here and there. They changed some bits here and there. I nearly had a cry. I asked my daughter if she had a cry. She was like, yeah, I had a cry. I was like, yeah. Okay. By the end, I enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it all? No. Do I think it could have been done better in places? Yes. Do I think they should have offered the role of Gobber to Craig Ferguson? 100%. and then worked with it from there. Yes, there is a part of me that wishes they'd have just brought back the original cast and just, like, I don't know, CG'd them. But whatever. I enjoyed it, and I will watch it again. Part of me wishes I'd seen it in IMAX, but that's a different story. Games. Let's talk about computer games. I bought a game. It cost me £3, and like any game that costs £3, you're like, is it going to be worth it? And then you remember it cost £3. Random sale item. Bearing in mind the Steam sale is on right now, and don't ask me how much money I've spent, because so, Steam sale is on. Just before the Steam sale started, I bought 9 Monkeys of Shaolin. It was £3, and I was told, hey, this game it lends itself back to the 90s side-scrolling beat-em-up. Now, here's where things go wrong. I wasn't a massive fan of the side-scrolling beat-em-up. It wasn't my favourite genre. I have played many of them, but when you get like 3 levels in and then you die and it was game over and you were like, why did I waste my fucking time? It just turned into what's the point in playing this game? And that was the end of it. Obviously, nowadays games aren't like that. So they've changed things, and you can put it on easy if you want, which, you know, I do all the time. I put this on. I thought, I'll give it a go. We'll see what it's like. It had really good reviews, and I can see why, because it's an absolute banger. One downside. Playing the levels can be quite intense at times. So intense that you feel like you need a break. You can complete a level, you know, between 5 and 10 minutes, and at the end of it you're like, I need to take a break. So as a game, it's one that I have taken a lot of breaks from. Been a lot of points where I've just been like, I'm gonna turn it off, or I'm gonna play something else. However, it is super enjoyable. It's got a great leveling up system. You have the ability to go back and replay levels and get more experience points to level up with. It doesn't restrict you in any way. In fact, it actively encourages it. Just a great, solid little game. Very little bad that I can say about it, honestly. One of the things that I have picked up in the Steam sale is the original God of War, because I wanted to see what it looked like on the Steam Deck, and it was cheap, and that's what I did. So I loaded I think it's something ridiculous, like 100 gig or something, into the Steam Deck, and I gave it a go. And yeah, it's God of War, but you know, we all love God of War. So I gave it a go and I played, and it plays amazing on the Steam Deck. Couple of jitters here or there. I imagine there's probably a setting that I can change for that, but it plays fine. It plays well. Something I will say is this. It looks fucking gorgeous. God of War 2018. 7 years ago. Yes, obviously, once you put something on a PC, you're bumping that puppy up a little bit anyway. And this is no exception. It looks phenomenal. There was a point very early on where you get in the boat and you push off from the dock. So you get like a sideways sort of ruffle of the water. And it just looked incredible. It's just so good. It looks gorgeous. It plays well. Perfect sort of combo. Have picked up a couple of other games. I'm going to treat myself and another long story, but kind of an early birthday present to myself by going, I can't afford these games, but And both of the games that I bought over the last couple of days, I've managed to get installed, ready to roll, and I'll see how they play. So there might be a review of those. Final conversation is Into the Radius 2. I have now modded this game off the charts. There was an update which killed all the mods, so all the mods had to be updated in line with the update. And I've systematically loaded them back in and picked up another couple of mods while I'm there. The game is now super playable in some ways. There is one thing I wish, and that's that I could get to the highest level guns quicker, which I used to be able to do through a different mod, but it was broken in a different way. It would register that you were the highest level from the very start of the game, so it just wanted you to do the highest level missions from the start of the game, which is obviously no good. So there's that. I finished it the other day and started it again with all the mods, because some of the mods that I'd only got so far through the playthrough. It was interesting to compare a unmodded version to a modded version. Save files, I think I finished it in about 5 hours when I had all the mods loaded in. Then I went to save over the top of a version, and it said that it had taken me 19 hours to play it unmodded. So there's a real difference there. Something that is sort of coming up a lot at this point in time is maybe it's time to take a break. I'm at about 130 hours. I just keep modding it more and more and more. I'm starting to worry about the amount of mods. And let's face it, there are other games out there in the world. Even if I just start playing flat games, maybe I should put my PlayStation on for the first time in weeks. Maybe. We shall see. I know that the development team said that there's not going to be updates now until the fall, which, maybe that's a reason to give it a break for a bit. We shall see. That is the podcast for this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you next time. So there you go. What do you think to that? Another one done, another one gone. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. If you haven't already. If you have, high five. Check out the website. That's the other one. Check out the website before you leave, or if you've got a spare 5 minutes, check out the website. There we've got social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. Anyone on the podcast, just say hi. Do it. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to CookieCast. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.